We've talked a bit about Shemar Stewart, but we've talked about him mostly as a prospect, which we will again today. But he was on the NFL Network recently, and I really like this little clip, Bobby. I really like this clip. You know what? I'm not even going to set it up. I'm just going to let it speak for itself. Now I'm going to set it up. He gets a regular question that these pass rushers frequently get during the pre-draft press conference.
What do you turn into on the field? Because I've heard the word menace used with you.
I'm definitely a little menace on the field.
Okay.
I get a little chippy on the field. A little words be said. Look, friendly words.
Friendly words be said. Do you start the talking, or do you wait for someone to engage with you?
I mean, I tend to be more cool, calm, and reserved. But when somebody starts with me, it's all hell break loose from there.
Just watching these highlights too, there's a lot of times where it looks like you're kind of sifting through trash here. And I'm not going to say your coach should have used you differently, but what I'm curious about is in the NFL, there's a lot of one-on-one, right? There's a lot of kind of isolation style rushes. Is that something that you would like to do more? You think would be a good fit for you in the NFL?
Oh, I would love to have more one-on-one rushes. Hey, who don't want to be one-on-one with somebody? So like that's the easiest way to get your job done. Instead of going through three people.
And if you get your job done in one-on-one matchups, you get to a quarterback. Is there a guy in the NFL, 1 of 32, that you dream of taking down, of getting right in his face, of laying on top of him, being like, "What's up? I'm Shemar. Nice to meet you." You got a quarterback that you want to get after?
Definitely Lamar or Patrick Mahomes.
Naturally, the top two.
Can you chase down Lamar?
Oof. I know I'm fast, but I don't think
you may need some help.
I ain't gonna say that one.
You
but
have to get chased to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
got to cut back into me.
Yeah. You need the sideline to help you. Bring him back towards you.
That's awesome.
That made me like him a little bit more, Bobby. Who doesn't want, right? Who doesn't want as an edge rusher to tell their grandkids one day that they sacked and just laid on Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson in the backfield? Who wouldn't want that honor of sacking these two guys? Both very hard to get down, but especially Lamar. We all know the elusiveness that he has. People are right there, and somehow he gets out of it time and time again. He's the Houdini. And so, of course, he wants to get two of the best. But boy, did I like his realism when Pelissero was like, "Okay, so you think you can chase him down?" He literally said, "Oof, oof." I know I'm fast, but I don't know. I ain't gonna say that one. He's like, "I need him to cut back into me. Somebody help me out." That's the way it's gonna get it done. I appreciate the respect that he's given to who I think is the GOAT quarterback in Baltimore and maybe beyond.
I figured you might appreciate this juxtaposed to what we were talking about earlier in the week with Jalen Milroe, right?
Yeah.
It's funny how we're going back-to-back days with this discussion. But Shemar, Sarah, is an athlete. So for him to be giving Lamar this kind of praise is obviously justified. But it's also, there's a certain level of humility, I think, is what you're getting at here that you appreciate. But Shemar's no scrub. He's 6'5", 267 and posted a 4.59 in the 40 at the combine. 4.59 at 6'5", 267, a 10-yard split of 1.58 seconds, vertical jump of 40 inches, a broad jump of 10 feet, 11 inches. This guy's a freak. I mean,
he's literally the perfect definition of an athletic football freak.
Yes. And so for him to, and of course, live chat saying he is a scrub. Look, you can call him whatever you want. I know there's a lack of production, which we'll get to in just a second. Chris Sims had a good response, an interesting one, to the lack of production while at Texas A&M. But Sarah, this guy, one thing he absolutely has is God-gifted athleticism. Now, it's a far cry from Lamar's 4.3 and change, right, that he ran
4.34
at Louisville. But, hey, that's
a 4.59 is not chasing down a 4.34. I like it. Keep it real.
It isn't, but it's yeah. And again, which speaks to the humility there. I like the inner competitive spirit, though, right? To not hesitate and mention the top two, really the universally agreed upon top two quarterbacks in the NFL today in Mahomes and Lamar. You appreciate that. I also appreciated sort of the counterpoint to the Mel Kipers of the world, who essentially would not touch Shemar Stewart with a 10-foot pole because of the lack of production. If you needed a reminder, during his 3 years at Texas A&M, Sarah, he posted a combined 4.5 sacks in 37 total games.
1.5 each year.
And 1.5 in his final 2 seasons with, excuse me, yes, thank you. 1.5 each year totals 4.5. Duh. So that's that. That's been the knock on him. Chris Sims and I caught up, as some of you might remember, when I made the trip to Indianapolis back in February for the NFL Combine, and he talked about why he's not concerned about that 4.5 number. Listen to this.
Charismatic.
He's been mocked to Baltimore, so tell us about
Well, he'd be a biggest, baddest pillager on the planet.
Not, you know what the knock is. What's the knock?
Well, there's production.
Yes.
1.5 sacks. I watched
What's your
enough film.
response?
Well, my response is, first off, in college football, the quarterbacks run if the first guy's not open ever. So you never get a real pass rush. Quarterbacks don't sit in the pocket and wait for things to develop like Lamar or Mahomes or Justin Herbert do in the NFL. So therefore, you don't have the chances to get the sacks the same way. The quarterbacks, and a lot of times, like I watch games, especially with him, it's like they looked at one guy and they ran. And I'm going, oh, he's coming around the edge to get the sack. But this quarterback's an idiot and just decided to run out of the pocket. And lucky he got lucky here. The other thing, too, is, there's plenty of times he beats the tackle easily. Oh, it's a screen pass. Oh, it's this pass over here. And you go, well, damn, he was going to get the sack here. But college football is all read option, RPO, so you don't get those chances. The other thing, too, and I'm big on this stat, and I believe I invented it, is the play-up stat, okay? Because I'm sick of
say that again.
The play-up stat,
okay,
where I'm going to go, why isn't like Aaron Donald, Michael Bennett back in the day? I used to always say Michael Bennett on the Seattle Seahawks was the best defensive player on the team. I'd go, if you watch the game, he ruins every play. He never gets the tackle or the sack.
Right.
But he is the one that ruins it. And now the running back had to run backwards over here, and somebody else got the tackle. We go, good play by that guy. Yeah. And I'm going, no, Michael Bennett was the guy that did it all. Aaron Donald did it all. And so that's what the play up is. The guy that disrupted and ruined the play, but doesn't get on the stat sheet. I see that from him. Like, you watch certain plays and you go, he just collapsed the whole left side of the offensive line. The running back wanted to run right down the middle, and he got crushed by his own people and got knocked down, and then the other defense end just touched him down, and he got the tackle. When I want to go, the dude number 4 just ruined it. He's the one that made the play.
Moral of the story.
Moral of the story
you want
is
people to dive deeper than his underwhelming statistics.
Don't stop everybody looking at stats all the time. We got to get out of this. We got to get out of it. We're obsessed with stats right now.
So that on Shemar Stewart back from the Combine, Sarah, it feels risky, given that it's really taken Adafe 4 years to hit that double-digit number. He did have a really, I thought, an above-average rookie season in Baltimore. Tailed off for a little bit in years 2 and year 3, and then year 4 obviously was the breakout and led the Ravens to, well, I guess they picked up his 5th-year option prior to that. So they projected it out that he might have that kind of year. He did. And will they go back to that kind of player in terms of, I know they're different players, but the production was similar at their respective stops in college?
Well, listen, we talked about his measurables and how he really is the definition of an athletic freak, which is probably why Daniel Jeremiah has him going number 17 to the Indianapolis Colts, despite only having 1.5 sacks each season. That being said, again, when the chat asked me if there was any picks that I didn't like, and I said Josh Simmons was one, this is another one that I'd be nervous about. I'd be nervous about it. I would admit, and I fully admit it's out of PTSD with Odafe Owe. That's fully what it is. And so, scouts who might have a better vision will see it differently. But with David Ojabo not coming to fruition, with Odafe Owe taking a few years to develop, I just don't know that I have it in me to wait a couple years for this guy to come around. And you know what? Maybe we'll all be eating our words if the Colts take him and he suddenly bursts out on the scene and all of that. I noticed in this clip with Tom Pelissero that he's like, yeah, it'd be awesome if I could get one-on-ones. He's like, it's not fun to have to go through 3 different people. He's like, clearly kind of putting that in there, but that's what happens. And so when Chris Sims is saying he's the the play up guy, and sometimes you can't always finish. And it's like, yeah, but other guys finish. You know what I mean? Like other guys finish, so maybe that's not to totally discredit what Shemar Stewart can do, but number 27, I'm not feeling it. And so, you know, there's a guy in Pittsburgh that finishes. There's a guy in Cleveland that finishes. There's a guy in Cincinnati that finishes. So I would like a finisher. But much love to Shemar Stewart, and I hope he has a great NFL career. And I loved his answer about Lamar Jackson.